In celebration of 1 year of podcasting, we are holding a giveaway of epic proportions. Everything you need to get started running games. 4 dice trays, 12 complete sets of dice, 4 Crown Royal bags, the D&D Essentials Kit, the D&D Starter Kit, Horde of the Dragon Queen D&D Adventure, the Young Adventurers Collection, Nerdarchy's Out-of-the-Box Encounters, Brass and Steel Steampunk Tabletop RPG, OSR Greats, The Rat Hack, Into the Odd, and White Box Fantastic Medieval Adventure Game. But that's not all. The Curse of Strahd Revamped is included as well. This complete list goes to one lucky winner in the U.S. Here's how to enter. Head on over to Apple Podcasts or Podchaser and leave a review. Leave a comment as well. Then, go to our Facebook page and like it. Finally, stop by our webpage, thedungeonmastersdojo.com/about, and leave us a message. Once we hit 500 on each, we will draw a winner. You must do all 3 to qualify. We'll see you next time in the dojo. I set my piercing gaze upon my enemy. Slowly, Chip? Slowly, I draw my sword. Dude, you're ruining my immersion.
So, plays you may encounter and how to cater to their needs this week on the Dungeon Masters Dojo.
Greetings and salutations, fellow DMs, GMs, referees, judges, and all other variety of storytellers. I am Lou, and that means I am with the matches with no men. The ones with the natural armor class of 20. Scott and Bill.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Scott.
Sorry, I got a chip stuck on my throat.
I'm doing well. This week's topic is we're talking about play styles at the table.
Yeah, and Bill totally screwed up my immersion, so I'm
Well, we'll start with, that brings us right to our first area, the noob.
You picked on me. No fungins for you.
the noob. Yeah, they're for all of you computer and console gamers out there, I've got news for you. The noob was a thing before you guys coined the term. Back in the good old days, a noob was someone who was new to the gaming table. And we do like to see the noobs. It's good when you got a noob coming in because that means you're ushering in
another generation.
Hopefully someone that's gonna stick around. The noob is the guy that shows up to the game without knowing anything about how RPGs work.
That was all of us at one time.
Yeah, every single one of us. They might be a little intrigued by what the tabletop RPG thing is. And they want to, or maybe, a friend.
Yep.
A friend's brought them along.
Or they're looking for that hot chick that's not here yet.
Yeah, well, and another thing.
Wrong venue, guys.
Yeah. I hope we get an opportunity to talk about what it was like to game back in the 80s because we paved the way for all of you lucky kids out there who have the drop-dead gorgeous girls playing at your gaming table.
You are all very, very welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Send us beer or something or a fruit basket. It wasn't easy. Most of the girls at the tables I played at looked kind of like me, only they had a bigger mustache. But one of the other things with the noobs is I've known noobs that have been gaming for years. They still have no idea what they're doing.
They still have no idea. Yeah, they
show up. They have a good time. They're there for maybe like the pretzels.
The beer, maybe.
Yeah. The beverage.
To goof around with the guys and have a grand old time. And And you have, after year, you still got to point out which one's the D20. And no, it doesn't end in 12. That's the wrong one.
That's you, Kenny.
Yes, Kenny, that's you. We constantly have to point out which die is which.
But he tries, though. He keeps coming back for more.
He comes
He's
back.
a glutton for punishment.
Yep. But yeah, Ken's our old time noob.
Yeah, we're gonna all wear T-shirts with pictures of the dice on them for him when he comes back.
So each of one of us have a different die shirt.
Quick roll of Scott. He's the biggest one. He's going to be the D20.
Mine will have a 1 on it.
Yeah, the noob's going to be there, and you hope they are, because when they finally get it, there's another perspective that's not on your table. There's another person who's bringing a brand new set of ideologies and ideas and way they see things to the table. And a lot of course, when they first start off, you're going to find that their characters often are just a reflection of themselves, which is fine. And as they gain a little experience, that they'll start spreading their wings and trying new things and encouraging them to play classes later on that they're not familiar with, races that they're not familiar with, stuff like that. It will help expand their gameplay and also give you as a game master a lot more to play with.
So with that said, what for a new person coming onto the table, what would be the classes you would have them try first?
It pretty much a fighter's the easiest to play. The hack and slash, and I pick things up and I put things down,
Right.
or I pick up my sword and I knock things down. However you want to look at it, the fighter's one of the easier classes to play. Keep them away from magic right off the bat, so not trying to keep track of a lot of things, even if it's just a cleric at low level, stuff like that. If they insist on playing it, then great. You're going to have to nurture them a little bit more. But try to gear them towards the ranger, the fighter, even a barbarian, things like that, because they're a little bit easier to play because there's a little less to keep track of.
A lot less thought.
You want to dip your toe in the water. You don't want to push them in the whole pond and see if they float. I don't anyway.
Who are you kidding? I've seen you pick them up over your head and huck them into the pond, frozen.
So, again, somebody like Kenny, I mean, I know what we do at the table, but how do we cater to him without making him feel like that he's a burden on us? How do we keep him interested in the game without him feeling, like he's trouble?
Well, as a DM, I think the first rule is, the golden rule of running a table: don't be a dick.
Don't treat your newbies like they're a bother.
Right.
Yeah, it's you were there once. You said that, right? We're all the brand new person at the gaming table, so there was like a huge learning curve. It's not like you're cracking open a box of Monopoly and it's on an 8.5 by 11-inch sheet of paper, the rules, and you can pretty much get the game down pat in 5-10 minutes of brushing over the rules. There's multiple rule books. It's big. It's daunting. It could be intimidating. And if it's not fun, people aren't going to come back.
Exactly.
And that's no good. So mentor them. I like to put my noobs in between the rules lawyer and the thespian. Right? When you're sitting at the table, it's nope, this is your seat. And
yes, it is assigned seating.
Yeah.
I've used place cards.
Yep, it's because what they get is kind of the best of both worlds, right? You get the guy that's going to be able to help them out with the rules. And our group is pretty good about that.
Oh yeah, our group was very good about that.
About kind of helping folks along and being patient. And the thespian, right? The guy who the minute he walks through the door and those feet hit the basement stairs, he's in character, right? He's on Broadway, right? He's doing Othello. Every Monday night at 7 p.m. he's on stage and doing his thing, and that's a fun way to get a new player into kind of like the whole dynamics of the game.
Well, you got them both
the
leaning
table.
over, whispering in his ear.
Oh, one on each side. Yep.
One on each side. You know, when it comes like, all right, you know, it's the one over here. Like what we would do at Kenny, we actually wrote on the edge of his sheet 20, 12, 8, 10, and he'd set the die
Next
to the number. So when he said roll a D20, he'd look at his sheet and see the 20, he'd pick up that die. And if it's something as simple as that, until they get used to it, because let's face it, a polyhedron can be a bit confusing when you get, you know, your D8, your D10. There's those of us that can pick them up and just by feel, oh, I know what I have, but not everyone can do that. So you give them a hand, give them a cheater sheet, a little strip of paper with the numbers on it, and let them just keep putting that die right back when they're done with it. As soon as they're done roll it, put it right back in its spot. So next time you ask them for a percentile, there's the D10 and there's the percentile sign. He picks the two of them up, rolls them, sets them both back, and that's what we did with Kenny. And it worked really, really well, and it actually expedited gameplay
For him, yeah. It did.
for him for the whole table.
Yeah,
The whole table's not like
exactly. Yep.
D20's next to your left hand. No, the other one. Nope, that's a candy.
Yeah, you can eat that one. Don't eat that one. You'll choke.
Yes, we're not rolling D Werthers. Right, you know.
That we all know how old Bill is if he's eating Werther's, right? He's got a jar of it next to his rocking chair by the window.
In case I haven't mentioned this in some previous episodes, I'm a little older than most.
Yeah, it makes it easier for him to yell at kids that are on his lawn.
Yes. Without batting an eye.
I have a great ball collection in the garage that I've kept when they landed in my yard.
Another thing you could do for your noobs at the table is do just kind of like a quick start guide on a piece of paper. If you go on the DMs Guild, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff done by the community.
Yep.
And there's some quick start guides there. And when we started with 5th edition, we all kind of jumped right into it. And
We were all the noob again.
we're all over. After 30 some odd years of gaming, we were brand new,
Yeah, because we came right from 2.5.
which was a very, very different game.
Oh, absolutely.
Still a good game,
Yep.
but a very different game. So I got a bunch of these quick start guides and just tossed them in a folder just in case. And we muddled our way through it, and we still had a good time.
Well, I mean, you even came in and said, hey, I found all these things. I think everyone grabbed up their phones, started saving it to their phones and their tablets, and everyone went home.
That's good for the
whole
for
table
the new player
had
to know as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just go out there and grab it. You know, it's free. And, you know, your DM, he's going to help you along the way as well.
Yeah, and hopefully the other players at the table.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's important to get these new people in.
It is. So, you know, let's talk about the tactician. This is my favorite part right here. This is me.
Is it?
Yes.
It says tactician, not destruction.
I'll let you, when we get to it, I'll let you know which one I think you are, Lou. But
This is me right here all day long.
The tactician, I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the description without laughing.
Name one person that would be a tactician at the table other than me.
Jared, Coric, Bill, Tom,
Okay, stop now.
Eric, Kenny.
He's new. He's the new.
Yep. So the tactician is this guy loves to plan things out.
Yep.
That's
right?
me.
He sends the rogue out to scout the situation, and he gives everybody their job. Right? He's looking for a weakness in the enemy. He's talking about flanking.
Oh, he's already figured out the distance for
Yeah,
everybody?
yep.
Oh, for you.
Can-
Okay, that.
Can my archer get him from here?
Oh, the mage. Oh, he's not in room for the mage. You need to wait till he gets to the corner of the building.
And this is the player that oftentimes knows your character better than you do. Right? He's talking, he's asking questions. He knows where the talents lie in the group.
Yep. Still think it's me.
We know you do.
Well, okay. So there's your tactician.
Well, yeah, he's one calling the shots, and often he ends up as the party leader.
Yep. A natural for it.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yep.
I haven't been party leader yet.
Well, that's
I'm sure it's just coincidence.
that's strange.
Yeah, it's baffling.
Still, I'm very tactful.
It's the word we use for you often behind your back.
So, well, how do you cater to them then?
Well, I think a tactician needs complex problems to solve.
Well, multiple targets.
Yep.
Multiple targets is the easiest way to take care of a tactician. Give them the big guy in the middle and the 3 on horses over here and the ones hiding in the bush over there. Give him multiple targets so he has different things he can assign as different people to. Let him call the shots. If the party says, all right, he's got a skill and we're going to let him do it, let him do it. But the easiest way to do it is give him multiple targets. Give him multiple targets. Or like you said, a complex problem. And let him mull it over, and he'll start listening to other people, or who thinks of this and who thinks of that. But the easiest way to handle it is just give him a bunch of baddies
And time.
Right? Yeah.
Let
them work it out.
Yep. They need time to think these complex problems through. So these aren't the impulsive players which kick down the door and
throw in a satchel full of black powder with a rag soaked in oil, lit.
Yeah.
And then slams door shut.
That's very tactful, though. Okay. Well, I'm starting to see something here.
Now the tactician is a good player because, as Bill mentioned, they're likely going to emerge as the party leader, but they're also going to be that focal point for the party cohesion. Right. So I've seen parties that have just rampaged in multiple different directions, all from the same party, but they're running off, doing this, that, and the other thing, wreaking havoc. There's chaos afoot, and then you get your tactician in. That's like, whoa. Let's get some cohesion. Let's get some plans.
Why am I the only one that seems to be trying to go for the objective?
Yeah.
That's usually your tactician.
He brings them all back in, right? He gives them focus and direction. And then for you, the DM, if you have that tactician at your table, you have to kind of really step up your game, especially if he's pulling the chaos together and organizing the chaos, because
if you got a weakness, he's going to find it.
Yeah, he's going to exploit it, and you're going to have a rough go of challenging the party. So you have to really be prepared to play around with the stats of monsters or enemies or whatever have you. Make problems a little bit more challenging, but he's also going to give the other players their moment.
Oh yeah,
because he's going to send that person in. All right, you're the one. You're the one with the high charisma. You're our face. You're going to do the talking. He's not going to send the barbarian in with the half orc barbarian with the
to negotiate.
Yeah, with the 6 charisma.
Well, another good way to get your tactician is terrain. We've mentioned we use terrain. But even if you have to describe it, terrain's another good way to, because that's just a 3-dimensional problem for them. That'll give them something else to work around. Now we have elevations, we have drop-offs, we have something between here and there, a series of buildings, foliage, trees, a chasm. Give them terrain along with your multiple targets, and that just amplifies it even more. So they're walking through your baddies. He brought the party together. The bad guys retreat them to a defensible position and give them a brand new problem. Retreat them over a bridge, and they're in the process of cutting the ropes on the suspension bridge. How quick, he's got them together. Make him think quicker on his feet and see, give him a whole different challenge. Change the environment a little bit. So terrain and environment's another great way to challenge your tactician.
And from what you're saying, it sounds like timing as well. The timing on what you're throwing at him, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. The timing's all on the game master. Timing's all on the game master. How quickly he drops them. The party, solves the problem, catches the bad guy, defeats him, gets the girl before she, is crushed by the whatever that's hanging over her head. So it's all on the game master as far as timing's concerned. And you have a lot more play with that than they do.
Or she saves the guy.
Or she saves the guy, yep. But but that's probably the two best ways to challenge your tactician.
And use an hourglass. Hourglasses are fun because they give you a visual representation of how the time is ticking away. So there is that real sense of urgency once you flip that hourglass over, and your tactician has to make these decisions and actions in real time, and doesn't have the luxury of kind of stepping outside of the passage of time to make these decisions. And it puts a little pressure on them. These players are quick on their feet, and it gives them a challenge. They'll really enjoy that, and that'll help to kind of satisfy their playing needs.
And you can go online and find, because around here I have somewheres, I do have an hourglass.
Yep.
And it's a 10-minute hourglass, but I'll tell them they have 5 minutes.
Oh, I've done that. I've used my phone as the timer for if I don't have an hourglass.
Well, the thing is, you know they're going to be rushing. Yep. There's going to be a little bit of inter-party something or other.
There always is.
But you want to, I mentioned earlier, you want to build drama sometimes. So you turn that 10-minute timer over, and you say, all right, you have 5 minutes. Now, it's an hourglass. They don't know how long it takes.
Yep, that's true.
So unless they actually get out their phone, but more often than not, they're fixated on that hourglass, and they think that's 5 minutes. So it's like, hey, we saved it, stopped it, and you don't have to tell them. You say, yep, you're right, turn it sideways. Yep, you solved it. Okay, put it away for the next time. But you're like, oh, we only got 5 minutes. We only got 5 minutes. We only got 5 minutes, and yay, we did it in 5 minutes. It took you 7.5, but that's okay. It's
well, they don't know that, like you said.
It's a victory for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one more thing. Yay, high fives all around the table.
Yeah, and the stress and sense of urgency was there, so your tactician is satisfied.
Right.
Yep. Well, and we'll talk about our next play style, the min-maxer.
Oh, the min-maxer. I don't know when the min-maxer came into play.
Probably the second day the game came out.
I've encountered more and more min-maxers since the generation of video games.
Yes.
This is also called the power gamer. You got yourself the dump stat. Mm-hmm. You're pouring all the points you can into whatever your prime requisite is for your class. Their goal is to max out these attributes. These are the guys or gals at your table that, given enough levels, if they want to have a fast character, they'll be running 6 or 7 football fields in a round. They will figure out how to do that just by maxing out their stats, picking up feats.
I think we've seen that already.
Yeah,
right,
grabbing a scroll. They want to succeed. Yeah. Their goal is to win at D&D and be better than all the others. You got to keep an eye on them because they'll hoard gold, right? They'll be the ones that, I found some gold. I'll fill up a bag before I let everybody know about it, and then I'll take my cut when it gets divided. And they'll sneak magic items. Oh
yeah, rings on automatically disappear and.
Yep.
Little things like that. If it's small, it's shiny, and it's got a precious stone in it. Oop, that's mine.
They're not good at sharing.
No.
So you got, not only do you, the GM, have to keep your eye on them, other players, if you got a min-maxer at your table, keep a close eye on them. They're going to try to get over on you.
So how do you cater to their needs?
Well, it's not necessarily catered to their needs. Their need is everything you throw out there. Right, they're going to try to acquire their needs no matter what. How to rein them in is probably more accurate.
Right. So how do we rein them in?
Well, if they're going to be hoarding stuff, just remember that they are not the only person in your world that knows how to take things that aren't theirs, and they are rarely the best at it. So take it away from them. Redistribute. They flub a roll. Rolled a 1. On a dex. Okay, you tumble over, you strike the ground, your pack opens up, and things spill out of your pack. And the party looks down and goes, hey, where did this stuff come from?
That works.
Yeah, you got to kind of put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Inter-party conflict is a very real thing when you have your min-maxer at your table if they're hoarding items.
Especially those items would work much more effectively in someone else's hands, or work at all because all they're doing is holding onto them.
Right. Yep. And that can also hurt the party as well.
Absolutely. So, like I said, you put them on the spot. You don't necessarily have to embarrass them. You don't have to get argumentative or anything like that. But you got to find creative ways to put them on the spot. And it's like, well, gee, if only we had. Well, the group was given one. Well, where is it?
He
More
has it.
often than not, most of your party knows where the things are.
After a while, yes.
Yeah. So they'll all spin their heads and look over at the player over there, and so just out of curiosity, does your character have something like that? Oh, here, let me check. But put them on the spot.
I think you may have to establish some house rules too, for the min-maxers, or else you run into Justice League syndrome, right? Which is certainly don't want to do at the table, right? You look at Justice League, Superman can pretty much do anything anybody else can do, only better, right? Stronger than Wonder Woman, faster than the Flash. What does he need the other guys for? What, to bring him coffee?
I still think Shazam could kick his ass.
Yeah, probably. But you got your one guy or gal or character here at the table that has maxed out something.
Yep.
And they could do everything the other players can do, only better. So what do you need the other 6 for, or the other 5 for? And those players may feel like they're
inferior.
Yeah, or left out, because everybody comes to the table for a different reason. But the one reason that brings them here is they want to enjoy the game. So all these other play styles may be turned off by that. So you might have to put some house rules in effect to kind of,
like, what kind of house rule?
I would say something along the lines of, this is as fast as you can move. This is what the cap is. You may have to put a cap on their top end speed or their top end strength or whatever have you. And you could get creative with that. If you moved so fast that you run the risk of injuring a limb or whatever. Yep. It could be as simple as
give them a cursed item.
You give them a cursed item. Cursed items are great. I don't see enough cursed items. They could be really, really fun. Or just establish those house rules. We're not going this high. It's not one of those super powered kind of games. This is where we're capping it off. So you can do your min-maxing to a certain point.
Well, you can also set up your encounters and your scenarios to gear it towards the strengths of the other characters, which is more oftenly not the strength of your min-maxer. He might try, but he's not going to be able to pull it off because that's not within his wheelhouse.
A lot of times they're one-trick ponies.
Yeah, I'm really strong. I'm really dexterous. Okay, but we need someone really smart. All right, but I'm going to hit it with my hammer. That's not going to work. Breaking things, isn't going to work. So you can set up your encounters to target the strengths of your other characters, and that takes the min-maxer out. You got to be careful. Sometimes your min-maxer will, like I said, start alienating some of the characters. So another way to take care of it is start enforcing consequences in play. We had way back when a person who was a rogue, min-maxed like crazy, would hoard everything. Got caught. The group knew it. He denied it left and right. The party, the players or the characters knew he was hoarding his stuff. Couldn't find it where we were squirreling everything away. He got caught. Was found guilty, brought out to the scaffolds, to the gallows, and as the game master, I said, "Okay, does anyone want to stand in this person's defense?" And the whole party just stood there and looked at him. And he's calling out, "Come on, guys, you're my best friends. I'll take care of you. I bet you're looking for this." And they all just looked at him. The party took care of it. And he was hung. His character was killed. Not the way you really want to go. But if you tick off your players, they will turn on you. You take off the other players, they will turn on you. And as a game master, you don't want to see that. But there are times where if that min-maxer just keeps pushing the envelope and pushing everyone's buttons, sometimes you got to let it play out. Just let it roll and turn on and say, dude, I don't know why you're mad at them. You're the one that stole everything. You're the one that took everything. And they know you did. You just deny it just because you hid stuff. Oh, you didn't see it, so you know I didn't take it. Well, if no one else is here has it, and we were the only ones there, the only one left is you.
Makes sense.
Process of elimination says
Yep.
you took it over and over and over again. There's overwhelming circumstantial evidence, and they're just going to let it play out. And that player's character was hung because he was caught being a thief. And so yeah, you don't want it to go to that extreme sometimes, but it definitely jolted that player.
It's a wake-up call.
Yep, it jolted that player. So, yeah, he's still min-maxed, but he didn't keep as much, and he didn't keep, everything, and he didn't keep the best items. He still hoarded a little bit, but, when you're, playing the roguish characters, they're going to do that. You got to give them that little bit. But when they're taking everything, there's going to be circumstances in play. And if you're caught doing it, or something terrible happened. You're holding a device that the cleric needs to heal somebody. And if you don't cough it up, that person might be you. And if you do cough it up, well, where did this come from? What else do you have? So, let there be consequences to the circumstance.
And these things are all things that could be brought up in your session 0.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go over exactly what kind of game you're going to run. Like we stopped rolling characters a long time ago, and we just gave out point spreads based on what kind of game was going to be run. So you have X number of points to build your character, depending on whether or not it's like epic world-saving stuff, or you're just doing a city-based adventure where you're just slightly above regular people, because adventurers are never regular people. They're exceptional,
right?
And that kind of can curb it a little bit. You'll still get the min-maxing, you just won't get Superman. But these guys also need their needs catered to as well, because they want, they're building a character that they see as being exceptionally good, better than everybody else's character in a specific area. So give them that opportunity to stretch out their maxed out muscle. If you got yourself the barbarian, that's a crazy heavy hitter. Give them a big opponent, someone that can really go toe to toe with them. Your player may not like that because they're used to mowing through everything, and that's kind of cool to do too. But throw them that big opponent that is really able to challenge their abilities, where it could go either way. You could, a couple bad rolls and, you could be down for the count.
Yeah, we've seen that too.
Especially when he calls them out. It's mano a mano. No one touch him. This one's mine. And he calls them out. And all the other baddies are like, okay, we'll go beat up on the cleric instead. He's got this guy.
Yeah.
And let him go. They said, let him go toe to toe. Let him flex his muscles.
But they're clever, these min-maxers. So do your homework, because they know the rules. They know the rules so well that they know the loopholes in it.
Well, that's why they're min-maxing.
Yeah, rules as written or rules as interpreted. It depends on what the argument is.
Oh, but in this book, there's the variant on this one. Make sure you know those variants. Make sure you know the stackable stats, because they'll stack stuff that isn't even stackable. Yeah, they'll try it. Yeah. Oh, I thought that you can add this to that.
Well, that's because that's as rules is written, not as interpreted.
Well, no, a lot of times it is not written that way. Well, it says you can't stack it, but I didn't read it all the way through.
But there's also a couple that say,
there's definitely some
and they're just misprints.
Yeah, there's some that are obviously a lot of misprints or leave the description a little bit vague. Enough where I know those min-maxers will grab that and run with it.
And we've seen that a few times.
Yep. Yeah.
But that will lead us into our next person, the wild card.
The wild card.
The wild
Let's talk about the wild card, Lewis.
Glad you brought that up, Lewis.
So your wild card, yeah. You guys all familiar with Leroy Jenkins?
Yep.
Right? He would be your wild card. You just don't know what these players are going to do next.
That's why they're the wild card.
That's exactly why they're the wild card. You have no idea what's going on with them. They could go full murder hobo on you, or they could not. Depends on the day.
Yep.
Depends on how caffeinated they are.
Yeah, I'm going to stand in the corner and watch everything happen.
Yeah.
But last week, you kept fireballing everything.
Yeah, or thunder waving the party.
Yeah. I'm casting Thunderwave in a 15-foot by 15-foot stone building with the party in it because there's one guy in the doorway.
Yeah, or feeding the homeless orphans.
And I'm on the other side of the room.
They may also be a cheater. They may cheat a little bit. Do you remember years ago we had a player we used to play with?
Which one was quite a few?
Well, he was the guy that always sat farthest away from me when I was running the game.
Yep.
He would roll the dice, and I knew he got a crap roll because he'd pick it up immediately, look at it, go 20. So when it was a good roll, of course he'd leave it be. So we ended up having to give him a softball-sized D20 that everybody could see from all the way across the table. Yeah, he was the guy who would sneak extra abilities. You know, you're a paladin now. You were an assassin last week.
Where'd you get laying of hands?
Yeah,
as an assassin, I just.
Or they could be just that player that does just bizarre things. You know, the archer that hands its bow off to the.
We've seen that.
Yeah,
to the bad guys. Oh, that's a nice bow. Can I look at it? Oh, sure. Here you go.
Yeah, I've had
Sploosh.
yeah, one of our wild cards. Party was riding down a road and that was running parallel with a river towards the city, and out of the blue, playing a female character, of course. I'm going to take my shirt off. Okay. And I'm going to swim upriver to the city instead of
Traveling with the party.
using the road.
Yeah.
Fully clothed. Yep. Okay. So that's what they did. And sometimes that's just their play style. It's like, I can do whatever I want in my fantasy world. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, it happens quite often.
That's your wild card. We've got a couple of them.
We're both staring intently at Lou.
Okay. I am that bad sometimes.
Yeah, no, most of the time.
So how do you cater to my needs then?
Well, wild cards need a lot of stimulation. A lot of stimulation.
Yes, because the second they're bored, that's when something's going to happen.
Something blows up.
Yep.
A fight occurs.
They walk into the bar, trip the barmaid as she's going to the table with the drinks, and push somebody going, "Why'd you do that to her?" And then back off and watch see chaos ensue.
Yep. They're troublemakers.
Yes, they are. Yes. Entertaining as hell,
Yes.
but troublemakers.
Yeah, you need to give them a lot of attention. You need to sit them like right next
to the game. The wild card should always be right next to the game master.
They used to do that. They used to do that in school. Remember that one kid, Bill, that was always kind of a pain in the ass in class? His desk was always next to the teacher's.
Yeah, would drag his nails across the slate.
Chalkboard?
Yeah.
No, the slate.
Okay, yeah, the one on the desk.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Piggy tails and inkwells, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
he was
I went to school and there's still inkwells in the desk. So
the kid that would fart in the chair when the minute the teacher turned their back. That's your wild card. You got to sit your wild card right next to you. You're the fifth grade teacher. The wild card is that misbehaved student, so you can keep an eye on them.
Yep.
It's always good to have a really big set of dice.
That's enough about the wild card. Let's move on to the thespian.
The Thespian.
But before we go,
oh yes,
let's
more
talk
point.
a little bit about seating. You got them by the GM on one side, and on the other side, you need to put the min-maxer, because there is no way that this player, the min-maxer that is going to allow themselves to be outdone by the wild card. So he's gonna keep that wild card in check for you without even realizing he's doing you a service.
And vice versa.
Has it worked?
Not with our wild cards, no.
Scott's broken.
And this is why he's begging someone else to game master
Yes.
for a bit. So the Thespian.
The Thespian.
This is your drama queen.
Yes. They are the quintessential actor.
Yes.
Well, like you said, as soon as they hit the floor down here,
They are in character.
character.
Do not break their immersion. Do not. They get upset.
Yep.
They get upset. They love their character.
These are the ones that bring props. We'll be wearing the Jacobean shirt and the leather bracers, and come with a nice fancy hat, and oftenly have a feather in it. So yeah, when they're in character, they are in character. They'll have props. They'll be reaching into their bag. They're the ones that has the metal chain metal mesh bag for their dice.
Yep. Yeah,
we have a few of those.
we
as well.
do. They never stop role playing ever.
But it brings a lot of life to the table.
Well, it does, because their deep immersion into the game could start dragging other players a little deeper into that immersion, and that's always a good thing, because they're working for you as the GM.
Oh yeah, you feed into it. You definitely feed into it. When you talk to them in character as oftenly as possible. Nurture it. Fire them right up. And he's right. It will bring your other players, even the ones that are going to do it kicking and screaming. They're going to step up their game, and they're going to be a little bit more involved in their character and their role play as well. It's a role playing game, and you got those people that want to take that role playing to the nth degree. Then let them, because hopefully they all jump on it.
Oh, and we've seen it happen. Everybody just follows on the coattails.
Yep, and they go deep.
Mm-hmm.
And
When the game's done, they're in the driveway on the way out, still talking in character to the other players in character. And you'll see them, responding. Well, I can't believe you did that. Well, I did it because of it. And they'll have an argument or
an explanation,
or an explanation, or a celebratory. Oh, I can't believe you did it. But it's all in character, and that carries over, because the next week they'll pick it exactly right up where they left off.
And they're true craftsmen too when you're looking at the Thespian, because very seldom will the phrase "because that's what my character would do" come out of their mouth, even though everything they do is because of that's what their character would do. But they immerse themselves totally in the game, but they can still function as part of the cohesive unit without.
Yeah, it's not a character sheet; it's a persona.
Right.
They have a persona. This is me now. This is a person. It's not a piece of paper. The piece of paper is for everyone else to figure out what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing because this is me. And the Thespian is just that. They adopt the role.
And that's the play style I think I like and appreciate the most at my tables, because they will get everybody else involved.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to become contagious.
I thought it was the wild card. He gets everybody involved.
The wild.
No, if you get a tactician and you get a Thespian that in play work amazingly well together,
yes.
Yep.
then you have a table, because everyone jumps on board. They'll both keep your wild card and your
keep 'em
your
quiet.
min-max, kind of in line.
Not quite enough.
Not
in line enough.
It's never enough, but a little subdual will help. But if you can get those two to work together, then you know you got something magical happening, because the two of them will take the whole table to a giant level leap forward. So let them run, let them go together. If they turn out, even if they're enemies, even if they hate each other, they don't get along. They're just traveling because they have to.
Yeah, it's still good stuff.
It's still really, really good play.
It is. Well, I know we said these were the 5 play styles, but here's a bonus play style.
Bonus.
I know you guys weren't ready for this one.
Dun, dun,
The metagamer.
The metagamer.
metagamer.
metagaming has kind of a bad connotation, but I don't think metagaming is so bad when it's handled correctly.
Explain.
So I think with metagaming, there's just some things that your players would know, right? They would.
There is such thing as common knowledge.
Yeah.
Even in a fantasy world, there is common knowledge. Everyone knows dragons are bad.
Yeah.
Right? They all breathe really nasty stuff. It may not always be fire, but they all breathe nasty stuff.
And they'll eat you.
And they'll eat you.
And that's bad.
You know, that there is common knowledge. Orcs are usually bad, or they're taught they're usually bad.
They're bad.
But there's common knowledge that today, in the times we live in now, may not necessarily be common knowledge. But back then, yeah, common sense was actually common, and common knowledge was common knowledge.
Yeah.
So you got to give them that little bit of leeway.
Right, yeah. And well, I see that, but how do you handle them when they start using outside influences? Or just, he saw you do something, or he knows that you out of game that you did something, and he brings it into the game. How do you handle that?
A lot of times just look them square in the eye and go, you weren't there. What? You weren't there? You have no idea. But there's no but.
Yeah.
You weren't there. Call them straight out. Stomp on it as quick as you can.
Exactly. Yeah,
you don't have to be an ass about it. But go, you weren't there. But no, there's no but. You didn't hear about it.
How would you know?
Yeah, you don't know it. You don't know. You weren't there. This was done in another room or was said out of character. Mm-hmm. You have no idea, so you cannot act on that. And just cut it clean and dry. That's usually how I handle it.
Scott?
Yeah, it's in situations like that. You have to really delineate between player knowledge and character knowledge, which are very different things. And in like the situation that you mentioned, yeah, if you were not present, and those that were present were, didn't divulge that information, then that's not something that you would know.
Right, exactly. That's why I brought it up, because the new GMs who were catering or presenting this for, they're not going to know how to handle that right off the top. They would just let it go.
Yeah, it's practice and experience.
Well, you could take it to extremes like Scott and I did. Build a new world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the monsters are going to do because you've never seen them before. You don't know what the magic item is going to do because you've never seen them before. Build your own world. Even if you don't build your own world, make your own monsters. Create your own monsters. Create your own magic items. There's sections in the Game Master book that will tell you how to make your own stuff.
Because rest assured, your metagamer has read the monster manual backwards and forwards.
He's read every manual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Backwards and forwards, and probably knows it much better than you do.
Knows the strengths, knows the weaknesses. Well, guess what? It looks like this, and it looks like it'd be half this and half that. Okay, so I'm going to take a little from both of those and try that. And, lo and behold, it doesn't work. Now he's got to figure it out just like everybody else. So you don't have to take it to an extreme and make an entire world like Scott and I have, but
it's fun if you do.
Oh, it's fun
it
as
is
hell.
fun.
Oh, yeah. It takes a whole different level of fun. But make your own monsters. Be very descriptive. Think about it for a while. Don't try to do it on the fly, but create your own monster. Write the stats. Write the background. Write the ecology of it. And keep a cache of them. And you can pull them back out here and there. And even if you don't use all the abilities because they luckily killed it off, well, now you can use some of those abilities next time because, all right, we're going to try this. And, okay, it worked on that one, but, gee, that was the males and the females are different.
Sounds perfect to me.
So you create your own magic items, create your own monsters, and the metagamers, not so much of a problem anymore.
Yeah, or alter existing ones.
Yes.
Yep, I agree with you. And with that, we're going to conclude this episode, and those are the 6 play styles that you may encounter and how to cater to their needs. That's going to conclude this episode. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Please subscribe to the podcast for more great content. If you'd like to hear a particular topic, you can reach us out on Facebook at the Dungeon Masters Dojo, or you can drop us an email at thedungeonmastersdojo@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good day.